Morning viewers, welcome to the Bottinella Hills. Dwayne and I are working out here on gold exploration for a company called Euro Exploration. We're exploring for acacia minerals. We're following in the footsteps of Jack Absolute Bullshit and Harry Butler. We're doing all the Harry Butler things, we're looking after the bush, the ecology of the bush, and we've learned a few things from Jack. It's wild country out here, very, very lonely, rare to see a person, you know. What's that? Oh, greyhound bus. Anyway, it's rare to see people out here, so there are a few things you should learn in the bush. It's hardship out here. Food is very, very thin on the ground, so, you know, and the funny thing about this company is they expect us to live on hardtack, you know, it's such shit as, what, Diet Coke, muesli bars, chocolate covered, fruit, always take fruit, and cake. We just baked some nice cake this morning, wrapped it in Glad Wrap. What we're going to do today, we're going to take you through some of our sampling. We're going to show you some of the country we're working in, so you've got some conception of what Dwayne and I are up to out here. The hard work that we do, and the actual need to do this work, to find the gold for the country of South Australia. So stick with us today and we'll show you some lovely country. We'll show you how we look after it. We're very ecologically minded out here. And but stick with us and enjoy yourself. Click. Pretty wild spot we got up here. This is timber in the background over here. We've worked our way up from there, we've worked our way north, east, south, west. What we do, we go around with a shovel and what you people probably think is a post hole borer, but we like to call them a mineral auger, and we dig a hole in the ground. We get samples that we put in bags. We're looking for stuff called cowcrete, which to the ordinary person you would call it rocks. We know this is cowcrete. We're actually cowcrete hunters. So we dig a hole, take a sample out 60 centimetres down, whack a lovely little peg with ping in it, shove some shit in the bag, put the bag in the car, and we go on 50, 500 metres to some holes, 250 to some when we're doing follow-ups. We bug it if we know how we're going to get off the top of this hill. We've come up this way with a GPS satellite unit. It's showing us that we come over this hill and down into the valley behind me there to take the next sample. However, I'm not quite sure how we're going to get off this hill. We might have to go back and go around it. But when we get down there, we'll show you a bit more of the countryside and just what we're doing, because I know you're bloody interested. Nice parrots in the background. Harry Butler would be proud of us. See you at the next hole.
It's a tricky old country here to get through.
Oh Jesus, over through here. Straight down into this gully, mate, and down the middle of that bastard, I think. Bit of brush slapping. Where's the old GPS? I shifted 13 off in the other direction. We're using about 4,000 bucks worth of navigational equipment here, and this takes us to within 1 metre of where we're supposed to dig our hole. As it says at the moment, we're just 0.01. It's somewhere underneath these trees on our right hand side. Ideally we try to get to 0.0 on that, and then that gives us an exact readout. Heavy duty drill. This is the piece of equipment that we hate the most. The bloody crowbar. We only get it out when we have to, and that's not very often. Right, so that's the stuff that we're after. I'll just check that now for acid fizz again. And you see it fizzes, we'd call that moderate fizz. High fizz is the best gear. We then just bag this stuff up into a numbered bag, rip the string tight, put him in a bag, and then that goes down to the laboratories in Adelaide and gets tested. So this is what we do all day. Just at some of the country that we're doing it in, it's pretty bloody wild. It's beautiful out here. Not real good on the old Toyota, but man has to make it quick. The bag, tools in the car.
You on channel, Brett?
Bag in the ground. Must always leave the bush how you find it. Okay, now we finished this hole, and what we have to do, we have to plot in our directions to get us to the next hole. So sometimes we plot in a heap, other times when we're moving down to a new line, we just plot in with the GPS the coordinates that we move on to the next one. We have to keep a fair bit of paperwork out here and keep it fairly accurate, because if there's any gold here, or there's any show of gold, and they have to come back and do follow-ups, people actually have to find the areas where we've been. So what Dwayne's doing now, by use of over aerial maps and all the information that we've got, he plots the information in, he finds the number off the map, checks up the latitude and longitude off the white sheet, and enters that into the GPS system. Hard going, bugger this brush shit. Bloody terrible, you know. We've got to go on a straight line, so we're not faced with a lot of choice. We've got a big bit of brush under me now, acting like a broom. They got rid of it, just cruised over that gum tree. Hell, this is what you call impenetrable jungle. I keep worrying that somewhere in here, I'm going to have to crash through the bush and I'm going to land right on top of the phantom.
You got to watch where you're walking around here. You can run into these orb spiders. Big monstrous thing it is. Probably nearly as big as my hand. Not going anywhere near it, that's for sure.
Big as your hand.
Well, it would be if he stretched himself out.
Look. Here we have the orb spider. He's called an orb spider because his guts is like a big orb. Big fat ass hanging on. I think he's, oh shit, I thought he was dead. Now, that's rather an impressive sized spider. It's nearly as big as my nose, so that's a big spider. Don't you wish you all could have smoko like this in the great outdoors? With Bushman Dave and Bushman Dwayne? I know this is roughing it, but we're expecting a union rep to come out from behind a bush any second, you know, and we just want them to understand the conditions that we have to put up with out here.
Oh, look out.
No smoko room, no ablutions block, you know, it's just poor as buggery when you think about it, the kind of work we're doing for the benefit of the country, the minerals discoveries that we're going to make out here. And we have to sit around and drink cups of tea and beef and noodle soup, have a bit of cake, and then get back on with the job once the smoko whistle goes. Mind you, if the smoko whistle doesn't go, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll work it out. Then we stop for a prescribed lunch at 1 o'clock, and we have to live pretty rough, you know. Yesterday we were forced to have steak and sausages in gravy. Normally we have toasted sandwiches. They prepare them for us at the hotel where we're accommodated. So all in all, it's a pretty hard life. We go out on break on Thursday night's our last night, I believe, and we have a travel day Friday. So we'll be back in the land of the living. We'll go and harass the boys at Southcott's and Tomo's, and go and disappear back around Snowtown way again for a while after I've done a few running repairs on the old Tojo. Dwayne will go back to work next week. He does a bit of a different job than this. He's enjoying himself out here. Give us a bit of that water, mate. There's a handle bloody on it.
Nah, that's all right. My hands are burning in the flames. Hang on, let me swap this area. Righto.
Tip quick.
Look
That'll do. Look at that, soup.
Soup and tea.
Consuming passions. Was that Ian Pamela bloke, you know, on the TV? Consuming Peasants, was it?